Hello friends, my name is Xiomara Mayo Ingram, and again welcoming you to our session tonight, Finding Your Life Balance. Thanks for letting me join you and be part of your family tonight. And I have a couple of reminders before we start talking about our topic today, which is finding your life balance. Just to remind you that this is a pre-recorded session that due to the holidays, and since tonight it's going to be Christmas Eve, I took care of recording this session for you. You might be catching up with the video. Remind your friends that they can still join Emotional Café, and also that they can have access to all the previous sessions through the videos. So if you are getting to see this session on Thursday at 8 o'clock like we do every week, or if you're just catching it up over the weekend, just remember to grab your favorite hot drink. Here I have my decaf coffee, and you can have hot chocolate or hot tea, whatever is convenient for you, and just enjoy it at your best convenience. Part of why Emotional Café is addressing is the fact that it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter your schedule, you can always have access to it, either live, in which you can participate by chat with our session and asking your questions so we can address them immediately in our session, or simply by sending us your email or sending us a topic that you would like us to address, or simply reading the wonderful articles that we're uploading every week. The last article that we have for you is At the Crossroad, which is an amazing article about making decisions. So if you are at that point in your life in which you have to make a decision, go ahead and read At the Crossroad. I think you're going to enjoy it very much. You can also share with your friends all the information, invite them to join us, because remember, Emotional Café is a virtual platform for you. You are the most important person, and this is yours. So allow us to help you, to assist you, and just let us know what you're thinking, what your opinions are, your suggestions, how we could do it better, and especially what you would like us to address in any session that we have. As usual, every Thursday, when I start with the topic, I like to tell you why I have chosen that specific theme. In this case, it's finding your life balance, and I think considering that it's almost the end of the year, it is a great opportunity to look back and check how we're doing and how we're feeling about our lives, and make the changes and the adjustments that we need to do. And looking at it from the different perspective of what exactly is to have balance in your life will allow you to identify those specific areas that maybe you were not that aware that they have been affected, or that they are not as great as they should be, and you want to be able to have a great life. That's what we all want. So therefore, this is a great opportunity to look at the importance of finding your life balance, being able to balance your life in a way that it's healthy for you and that you feel joyful and happy about it, but also to make the changes that you need to make. No one's going to do it for you. It is your turn to actually look at yourself and look at your life and realize what is it that is happening there that you're not really happy about, in order to make it happen. It is also important to identify those attitudes and behaviors that maybe can turn into a danger and destroy your emotional health, and therefore we can continue assuming ourselves and growing. Last week we were talking about emotional growth, and this topic goes hand in hand with growing, with continuing with that incredible emotional journey that we have started with Emotional Café. Now, some important things that we need to know is that even though we're promoting and encouraging you to find balance in your life, that does not mean that your life is going to be perfect. I don't want you to go out tonight saying, oh, somebody's talking about life balance and it's going to be perfect. No, it's not going to be perfect. There's nothing perfect. but yeah, it's gonna be great. But it is extremely important that you understand that your life is not going to be perfect, that finding your life balance, and as the word itself implies, it means that you're going to be able to weigh the different areas of your life so they support each other. But that doesn't mean that it's always going to be perfect, or that you're not going to be facing any challenge or adversity or any problem. Those are things that are just things that happen in life. Everybody who is alive will have to be facing some sort of challenges or adversities or problems at some point or another. And it is extremely important that you understand this. Finding your life balance will just allow you to cope with those in a much better way, rather than just having all your energy addressed in one area of your life and then all of a sudden collapsing it and feeling that you've been left with nothing on your hands. So just remember that. It is also important to remember that it won't mean that you might not get emotionally stuck again. We were talking about stagnation last week, and sometimes we feel that we're growing and we think, oh, this is it. I'm just going to get better, and I'm not going to be stuck again. Well, let me tell you this. As any other process, we move forward, we move backwards. We go 5 steps ahead and we move 3 steps behind, we move 3 steps back, and that's just the way it goes with highs and lows. It's never linear, it's never perfect. So again, at some point you might have to review again the areas of your life to realize that there are changes or adjustments that you need to make again, and that is part of the process. That's part of the growth process. That's part of finding your life balance. It's not something that you just find it and keep it steady, but rather than that, you find it, you maintain it, you nurture it, and you continue making the review, the revision that you need to make in order to make sure that it continues working for you. Remember that who you are today is no longer who you used to be yesterday. So just keep that in mind. Now, when we're talking about finding your balance, we need to talk about how we, human beings, have been created as a whole with many parts. That's why when we look at a person, or when we look at ourselves in a mirror, we realize that we have 3 main elements that are part of who we are, which is our mind, our body, and our soul. And these are the 3 main spectrums that pretty much cover all the different areas of our life. If you think about it, mind, body, and soul, it is pretty much the equivalent to be, to do, and to have. And those are the basic needs of every human being. That's part of what make us different from animals, that we have specific needs. They do too, but in us, some of the basic ones are the ones that are going to boost us and motivate us to get even more in life, to do more, to have more. I brought here something to share with you that I'm going to show you. I like sometimes bringing some illustrations so you get to see it. And if you can see, let me see, it's a little crooked. It's a triangle. It's for you to see, and it has the 5 basic human needs categories. And the first one, which is the foundation of all of them, is the physiological need, which is, as its name implies, it's the physical need that we have for health, for food, for sleeping. So these are all the basic needs that we have when we are born. When we're little babies, we still don't classify or identify those specific needs. They're simply instincts that we feel that we need to be fed, or if we're wet, we cry, and it's just that way that we go making our needs be satisfied. But these are basic physical needs I'm sorry, that we need to have. And based on what the triangle pretty much implies is that if we don't get our basic needs covered, if we don't get our basic primary needs satisfied, all the other ones will be affected as well. And some of them, we won't even develop them or satisfy them at all. We won't even know that they exist. But when we are taking care of our physiological needs, then therefore we're going to continue moving along in a triangle, going up, because we want more. And if you look at the second one, it's the safety need. It has to do with feeling safe and secure. It has to do with shelter. It has to do with removing ourselves from danger. It has to do with protection itself. Now, the third one, it's the need to belong, that belonging need or social need to be part of something, to be part of a group, to be part of a family, to feel love, to give love, to feel the affection from others. So we all have that need. If you think about it, when we grow up, we have the physiological needs, and as we grow older, we learn how to protect ourselves. And then as adults, we want to mate. We want to be able to have a companion. We want to be able to have a significant other that we can give our love to and that they can give their love to us. The same thing with the family. We want to procreate. We want to be able to have kids. It's just a natural need that comes along as we grow older. Now, then we have up here the self-esteem, the esteem need, which is pretty much linked to our self-esteem, wanting to have the respect from others. And this has to do a lot with the way we perform at work and our professional lives, that we really want to be respected. We want to feel important. We want to have that sense of being esteemed by others. And the last one, but not the least important, is the self-actualization that we have, which pretty much means that we are achieving individual potential. This is the point in our lives when we say, I want more. This is the point in our lives when sometimes people feel, I have a wonderful family, I'm doing great at my job, I got my home, but I want more. I would like to become maybe a different professional field, maybe to explore a different professional career. Maybe you want to be part of a new project. Some people start being involved in charities, but this is the part that you start realizing that you want something more than just those basic needs that you've had. So self-actualization has to do a lot with our own personal project in our lives, what we want to accomplish, how we will feel that we have done that great that we wanted to do and be able to leave a legacy behind us. So it's all about how we feel about ourselves, feel that our life had a purpose, and that we look back and we feel that we have accomplished something. So again, these are the basic human needs categories in which all we can pretty much understand and look at our childhood and our teenage and then on our adulthood, and how it does have an impact on the way that we behave and the way that we pursue the things that we want to accomplish in life. Now, when we're talking about balance in your life or in my life, the categories in which we can find balance are two main categories. When we're talking, you're going to see I address a lot the different life areas, and this is something that I usually work with people that come and ask for my help on individual levels, which is to evaluate, help them review the different areas of their lives. And you have heard me say before that I have an inventory. I'm going to be sharing that with you tonight again. However, all these areas are pretty much categorized in two main groups, two main areas, which is our personal life and our professional life. I guess everybody can relate to that, because pretty much when we're talking about our lives, we either talk about our personal life or our professional lives. So it's like those two main groups that we all have in our lives. And everything else is either within the personal life, the personal group, or the professional area group. So when we're talking about personal, we are referring to our own self, to our own role as a member of a family, maybe our spirituality, the things that we like, the things that we eat, the things that we like to do, the people that we hang out with, the social life. All this is part of the personal life. Now, when we're talking about professional, it pretty much it's linked to our working performance, what we do as a way to gain our resources, our financial resources. So pretty much it's the kind of thing that you perform and you get some sort of reward or payment for what you do. To me, I like to illustrate it as if we're wearing a suit. You are in your home and you get your personal suit, and there you are, maybe someone's daughter, or maybe someone's son, or maybe someone's husband, or maybe someone's wife, or maybe your mother, maybe your father, but this is who you are aside from work. So when you're there, we're supposed to leave work in the office, right? Or at our working place. There you are who you are supposed to be, or who you intend to be. Now, when we go to work, we take off the suit, the personal suit, and we put on the professional suit. And then we go to work and we remember not to bring our problems, our personal issues with us, because it might cause an interference, it might cause problems, we might even lose our job. Imagine if we get to work with the drama of something that is happening in our personal life. Then whoever we're working with, even if we are our own boss, it might just cause such a conflict that we might not perform appropriately or the way that it's expected to be done, even if it's our own business. So that's why people tend to always remember not to bring your personal issues, not to bring your personal life to work. So that's why I like the illustration of wearing something. So it depends on where you are, you get to wear the suit that best fits. It is when we are in the professional area, we kind of put our personal life in pause. It's all like in standby until we get out of there, because we cannot deal with the two things at the same time. So that's pretty much how I like to see it. Professional area implies anything that you get some financial reward, and again, even some gratification, because we all, when we're working, I was talking the other day about when you get your first job, it's such an experience and you feel like so happy and you're making some money, but it's also that sense of being important, being, helpful, and being able to do things that are going to be giving you some sort of rewards, not only emotionally but also financially, which is important to satisfy some of our basic needs. Now, when we're talking about the main areas and the personal life and the professional life, we need to talk about a very important person, the workaholic. I bet you all have heard that word, workaholic person. Sometimes we use it in a very common sense, saying, "Oh, I've been workaholic lately," referring that we've been working more than usual maybe. And we use it very trivially, but let me tell you this. I have to help you understand that when we're talking about a workaholic, a real workaholic, there are some other issues that we need to consider. And I brought a reflection that I want to share with you, because part of what's behind the workaholic is that compulsive necessity to be doing more and more and more at work, to the point that is neglecting the other areas of his or her life, and that's not healthy. So I brought a quote that was really strong when I read it, and it really impacted me, and I want to share it with you tonight. And it says, if a person gambles, uses drugs, or drinks alcohol, these behaviors are considered unacceptable pretty much to self and others. But to work, overworking, even on the weekends, or giving up your vacation time seems like something very valuable. And if you think about it, it is just like that. You can kill yourself working, and no one's gonna say, "Oh, that person's sick." They're gonna say, "Wow, he works so hard," or "She's such a hard worker." That is just amazing. It kind of promotes the behavioral disorder in which you have to work more and more and more, as if what you do it's not enough. Now let's look at the definition of what a workaholic is, because I really want you to understand that I'm just not talking about someone that loves their jobs. This is a little bit beyond that, and that's part of what I want to be able to address with you tonight, so you actually get to identify if maybe you are a workaholic or maybe you're having this type of problem. Some of the definitions are as it follows: condition in which a person dedicates more time than required to whatever work they do, to the point that it can be considered a disorder. Another definition says that it refers to those people who waste their time at work or problems related to work to a point that their life is so busy that they get sick and they do not fulfill their physiological, social, family, and personal needs, not even on their free time. Isn't that sad? That you don't even have a personal life, you don't have a social life, because all you think about and all you do is related to work? Listen to this one. It says, those people who are addicted to work, for them, the work is the center of their life, to the point that everything else is less important, included family, leisure time, or social life. And finally, it refers to those people that gradually they go losing emotional stability. They become totally addicted to power and control in their path to accomplish success. Sometimes we think that being successful means that we have to kill ourselves working. Sometimes we think that we are only going to be seen as a successful person if we kill ourselves working. And I use literally the term kill because sometimes you think that you might not die from working. But the truth is that many of the issues related to health, and especially to stress and nervous breakdowns, are related to work. Lot of stress at work, working pressure, working overtime to a point that has no available time to relax, sleeping problems related to work. So if you think about it, all these issues could cause any type of heart attack, any type of health issue that can actually kill you. So yes, we are killing ourselves working when we are overworking, when we are workaholics. And that's my point here. Because again, I am talking to you, to that person that maybe your wife is always complaining that you're never around, that you never make it for your kids' concert, or your kids are just getting used to you not being around or doing things with them because you're always at work. I can totally relate to that. I remember a time in my life in which I was working so much to the point that you would ask me who I was, and I would say pretty much the professional career that I was performing at that moment. I would say I'm a counselor, or I'm a therapist, or I'm a life coach, because that's what I was. I was not finding my inner self. I was not connected with me or others to a point that, to me, being successful was killing myself working. I was disconnected from my own kids, and I remember my kids' counselor telling me, the kid is complaining that you're working too much. And I just couldn't hear that because I was so disconnected that I didn't see that they needed me. I was always doing what I knew best, which was to work, to a point that I was so miserable in my personal life because I had no personal life. I had no social life. I didn't do any other thing. So to you, if you're going through the same thing that I went through, I can tell you tonight, you can do this. You can get better. You can have a great life in which you can still be successful at work. You can do a lot of things at work. You can be very productive, but that doesn't mean that you have to neglect any of your personal life areas. You don't have to be successful at your own family expense. You don't have to be successful at your own expense. It's just a matter of reorganizing your priorities and defining what kind of life you want for yourself, and therefore being willing to make the adjustments that you need in order to get that. But sometimes we say we want something and we go acting in a total opposite way, in a total different way that does not go in compliance with what we say that we want in life. And this is what tonight is about. Finding your life balance is the call tonight before the end of this year, for you to look at yourself and realize, is this the kind of life that I want to continue living? Or I want to make some changes and have a better life and therefore be more productive? Let's continue and see what else a workaholic is trying to hide. But before we see what's really behind a workaholic behavior, let's talk about those specific traits and characteristics that the workaholic shows, just for us to know and for you to be able to identify if that is you that we're talking about tonight. The workaholic, or pretty much known as addicted to work, tends to be a very stressful person, very rigid, lack of flexibility, always stressed about everything, because in their minds there's always work. They don't relax. They even feel guilty when they are relaxed. Therefore, they're never relaxed. There's also that sense of something more that needs to be done, something spending. There's always something, always. And even if there's nothing, they will figure out and create something, because there's always got to be something pending. And that's the kind of sense that they're always showing, that there's something that needs to be done. They feel that if it's not hard work, then it's not work. If you're not really working hard, then you're not working. You're wasting your time. They got that sense in their minds that that's pretty much the way it has to be. They just don't understand that you can still work and be a relaxed person or enjoy what you're doing without all that stress that they pretty much have as part of their life, of their daily life. So if it's not working hard, it's just not work. Another important characteristic is that they don't delegate. They just don't know how to share the work, because they feel that no one is reliable. They don't trust anybody. And I love the excuse that some of them give. And I totally relate, because, again, that was me. The reason why I don't delegate is because no one's going to do it the way I do it. Well, I do it myself because I want it perfect. And since no one's going to do it perfectly, then I do it myself. Those are all excuses, let me tell you, my friend. Those are all excuses not to delegate, not to work as part of a team. Because the truth is that you don't find yourself unless you're working. So therefore, that's your excuse not to split the work among the team members so you get to work with other people. Therefore, you're always stressed. Therefore, you're always overwhelmed. Therefore, there's always something that needs to be done. Because again, it's a cycle that you just create over and over. And it's a lame excuse. Now, if by any chance the workaholic delegates some sort of work, it becomes a nightmare, because they supervise every single thing every single minute, to the point that usually the people that are working for them complain or give up because they just can't. And then we go back to the excuse. I knew it. That's why I had to do it myself. And then they take over, because that's what they know how to do. Take over. They want to feel that sense of power and control over the tasks. The other trait that they have is the lack of appropriate communication skills. They don't know how to communicate. Actually, they pretty much don't talk much to other people. They consider that a waste of their time, and therefore Any socialization, any leisure time, any relaxation time, it's a waste. That's how they see it. Because again, we're talking about someone that in their minds, there's a distortion that this is the way that things needs to be. So that's why it's important that we get to identify these things. And lastly, there's some people that it's not even about the money that they work like that. As a matter of fact, sometimes money, it's not even well paid. They are getting way less amount of money that they should be getting for the work, but they don't really care, because again, it's not about the money. It's about keeping themselves busy. That's what it's really about. Not about the money, but about keeping themselves busy. Now, if you ask me, what is behind the workaholic? What are they trying to run away from? What are they evading? What are they hiding? What is it? Because let me tell you this, as any other disorder, to be a workaholic, it's to be sick. And it's actually an addiction. It's being compared to addictions. I cannot say that it has been included in the DSM-5 and it has been recognized by the health organization as a disorder. But let me tell you this, the approach from professionals, it is pretty much the same approach that they do with the addict in order to break with the pattern. And if we look at the definition of addiction, it has to do with that dysfunctional pattern of behavior that it's causing some sort of negative impact in the areas of their lives and is affecting the global functioning. So if you look at the workaholic from that perspective, then it makes perfect sense that it's someone that is addicted to work. What is the workaholic hiding? Usually the workaholics are running away from their personal issues. They have serious issues in their personal life. Sometimes they don't have a personal life. Sometimes their personal life is so neglected, or it has already collapsed to a point that maybe the wife have left them, or the husband is no longer there, or the kids don't want to be with them. There's always something happening, maybe someone that is alone and isolated and cannot find a companion in life, cannot get into a relationship, and they're frustrated. That's pretty much what's behind a workaholic. A personal life that has no gratification, that has no any emotional reward, then therefore their shelter, their bubble is work, because it's something they find they can do a very good job, that they can be really good at it. So therefore they hide themselves behind work. They are extremely great professionals. They are probably the most incredible workers, but when you look at their personal lives, it is a mess. And that's one of the things that they are running away from, so they don't have to cope with that. They don't deal with those unsolved issues and conflicts that they bring from childhood, and therefore they don't cope with them. They just hide themselves at work. Also, the workaholic doesn't accept that he or she has a problem. Again, as we were saying before, the fact that it's something that is considered great by society, to be such a great hard worker, they don't think they have a problem, so they live in denial. So even though they don't have a personal life, or even though they have been so affected by it that they are only defined by the job that they do, they don't realize they have a problem. They're in constant denial and they don't accept they need help. Therefore, it's really kind of hard for a workaholic to make changes, because the first thing that you need to do is to address the problem, to accept you have a problem, and then to seek for help. And if you don't think you have a problem, then it's going to be practically impossible that you're going to go get any help. So that's pretty much what happens. Also, another thing is that workaholics, they feel superior than everybody else, and they consider everybody else lazy. And if someone is kind of criticizing what they do or the way they act, they will always say it's because the other people are jealous of them or they envy them. You know, they got this sense of being superior, but again, what's behind that is that they have no self-esteem because their personal life is totally a mess. So it goes hand in hand with that. Also, the workaholics, since it doesn't have a gratifying personal life, it's full of interpersonal conflicts. Most of the relationships in their lives are affected in one way or another. It doesn't have to be with a significant one. It doesn't have to be with a spouse or with a boyfriend or girlfriend. It can be with the parents. It can be with the children. It can be with the friends. But there are always conflicts in whatever relationship they have. And it's just amazing because they blame it all on everybody else. It's incredible. They don't see that they have a problem. They don't see that they are disconnected from people, and therefore they just simply go on and on and on, talking about how this person's doing this and how that person's doing that, and no changes are seen. But that's pretty much one of the signs with the interpersonal conflicts. And again, as I was saying, the way that we approach this workaholism is pretty much with an intervention, just like we do with addicts, and just helping the person identify how it has to work on the different areas of their lives, to a point that they have to review their schedule and readjust. And it's so painful for them because since they don't want to understand they have a problem, they refuse to accept that they do. Even bit by bit, as you try to implement changes, in some of those changes will be having some vacation time or going away for a weekend or just having some relaxing time or leisure time. That is painful for them. It is amazing how it's sometimes one of the ways that they can actually realize that they have a problem when they are trying to do this, because extremely important, if you seek for professional help, it is the only way that is going to work for you is if you follow whatever assistance this professional is giving you. You need to follow whatever structure it creates for you. And just remember that the happier that you are, the more productive that you'll get to be. The happier that you are in your personal life, the great results that you'll get to see at work. Why? Because you are happy. And it's just that combination. It's an equation that goes hand in hand. So just follow whatever structure the professional helping you is giving you. And make sure you give yourself a chance. Do not quit before seeing the results. Give yourself a chance. And you're going to start connecting with that great sense of having a personal life and being able to connect with others as well. So that's what's behind and workaholic. As I told you, we have different areas of our lives within those two main groups, which is the personal and the professional. And again, here I am to talk about the different areas. I call it the wheel of life because it's like a pie. Some people illustrate it like a circle, some people like a pie, some people like a wheel. But pretty much it's round like a circle because it means that as a whole, all these areas are part of who we are. I like to illustrate it with a table. A table with many legs, to the point that if one of the legs break, all the other ones will be able to support the table from falling. So this is how I see the different areas of our life, and these are the ones that I wanted to address with you tonight. We have the professional life, which is the career. We have the finances, which is also linked to the professional area. But then we have family, we have the physical health, we have the emotional health, we have the spiritual area, we have the fun and leisure area, we have education and academic growth, we have social relationships, which refers to friends, and we have relationship with our spouse or life partner. So again, these are all the different areas: career, finances, fun and leisure, family, physical health, emotional health, spirituality, education or academic growth, social relationships, which refers to your friends, and the relationship with a life partner or spouse. So that's more like the love relationship kind of. And Sometimes some people will say, how do I find the balance when you're naming all these different areas that I didn't even know that I had? Well, every human being needs to nurture each of these areas. And the way that I do it when they come to work with me is that I help them evaluate and rate from 1 to 10 each one of these areas, and to make a wish for each one of them, what they would like to see more of, or what they would like to see at all, because they haven't seen it. And it is a great opportunity for them to think and evaluate the areas of their life. And then once they identify that they want to learn something new in the education or academic growth, or that they want to read a spiritual book, or that they want to be able to do more exercise, whatever it is that is their wish for each one of these areas, then we get an action plan. We go for it in order for them to start being feeling more complete and feeling more balanced in all these different areas. Some of them, they will accomplish faster their wish in one of the areas than in other, but it's just amazing the sense of power that it gives them, and especially how joyful and happy they become from the moment that they're doing this. They realize that they are not only their relationship, or that they are not only their work, but rather than that, that there's so many different things that are part of who they are. And it's just amazing how they adjust their schedule. I work with schedules a lot. Sometimes when we're doing this, I ask them to share with me their schedule, just for them to actually look at how they have dedicated the time. It's just amazing, because some people, they don't even sit down and make a schedule. They just go. And when they have to sit down and do this, they realize that they don't have any time for having fun or going out or simply relaxing and resting. But they are just studying or working to a point that they didn't realize that they're not having any time to do the things that they would like to do more of. So working with the schedule allows them to be able to see how they have to make adjustments, and how they have to figure out some sort of time per week for each one of these areas. Of course, there'll be areas that you'll give more time to, like, usually you work 8 hours a day, or if you're studying, probably it's more time than what you spend nurturing your spiritual area. But it doesn't matter. What really matters is the result. Maybe in an area you only dedicate 30 minutes a day, but maybe another one it's 2 hours a day. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how it works for you. But the only way to figure it out is by evaluating the areas of your life, going through each one of these different areas: career, finances, fun and leisure, family time. When I say family time here, it means you with your children if you're a parent, or with your parents if you're a son or daughter, with your cousins or your sisters, your siblings, but that kind of family time. Physical health, emotional health, spirituality or religion for some people, education and academic growth, social relationships, time with your friends, and your relationship with your spouse or life partner or boyfriend, girlfriend. So when you go through each one of these, you realize what you would like to see more of, what you would like to accomplish, what is your wish in each one of these areas, and then you can start moving from there. That's pretty much, if you ask me, how you find the balance. There's no way you can find balance unless you look at these things, because this is when you're going to realize how much time you're actually putting into any of these. The other thing that I have is the benefits of a balanced life versus a disorganized life. I like doing this illustration because it really helps people to understand why this is important. I know that maybe you have been dedicated most of your time to work and you don't feel that this is important. Again, you might be a workaholic. You might need professional help. Why? Because the minute that you are not spending time to develop and nurture your personal life, you have a problem. We are a whole, mind, body, and soul. You cannot just take care of doing, or getting the money to have. You need other things as well. And let me tell you that some people that suffered from depression, one of the reasons that they are affected has to do with the fact that they don't feel that they have a fulfilled, balanced personal life. And therefore, they're depressed because they're sad, they feel their life is pathetic, they feel that something's missing. Now, it depends on when you get to have that sense of something's missing. Some people will have it really young, some people will have it at mid-age, but some people will have it at the end of their life, and that's when it's really sad because there's probably not the energy and the strength for you to do the changes that you need to do. So this is again an amazing opportunity right at the end of the year to look at your life and realize what is it that you would like to have. How are the areas of your life working? Are you fully happy with each one of them? But you need to look at them. Yes, with a magnifying glass and be totally honest with yourself and then move on from there. Okay, when we find balance in our lives, one of the things that we feel is stability. It provides us with that sense of stability. We feel at peace, we feel stable, we feel that we are better. Somehow, we're better. Disorganized life, you have your high levels of anxiety and instability. You feel that you're living in chaos. You don't feel that you have a sense of direction. As of in the balanced life, you have a sense of who you are, where you're going to, what you want to accomplish, because somehow you get organized up here. Remember we were talking about mind? You need to be organized up here. But in the disorganized life, when you haven't found the balance in your life, it's all just running, going like a ball, just going along with the flow, and you don't have that sense of direction and purpose in your life. Another great benefit from a balanced life is that we feel happier. We got that joy inside because we feel better about ourselves. On the contrary, in the disorganized life, we are stressed, we're overwhelmed. At any moment we flip because, again, all we have is stress. The moments of joy that we might have are so minimum that we don't even connect with joy at all. I have had people telling me that they don't know how I can talk about being joyful and being happy all the time when they don't connect with joy. And sometimes they're doing things and they don't even connect with having a good time while they're doing it. And that's very sad because it has to do with connecting with the importance of nurturing the lives, the areas of your life in order to have the life you want. I always talk about the life you want because we're always blaming on others or blaming on our situation that we don't get to have what we want. You are the only person responsible to do what you need to do in order to make your life better. Remember that. Another great benefit of a balanced life is the fact that we feel happy about helping others feel happier. We know that nobody can make someone else be happy. But when we're part of a family, when we have kids and we see them happy because we're doing something with them, we're spending time with them, or we're going to their little concert or their little game, and they're happy because we're them, we feel happier because we're providing some sort of happiness to others. We are contributing to their happiness, and therefore we feel great about that. Now, when you haven't found balance in your life, you know the main thing that people come with? Guilt. They're guilty about not spending enough time with the family. They're guilty about their wives complaining because they don't have time to enjoy and go out and do things with their wife. They're complaining that the husband is never home. There's always something going on. But there's always that bottom line. Guilt. Why? Because your life is just happening right in front of you and you're not living it. Someone else is enjoying it but you. And therefore, to get rid of the guilt, the only way to do it is by getting balance in your life. By getting the balance in your life, you're going to be able to have self-discipline. You're going to be able to understand commitment. You'll have the self-discipline to know when you stop working and you come home, Work doesn't come with you. Stop bringing work home. That is not acceptable because they need you there with your energy to be who you are, not who you are at work. So therefore, you show the self-discipline. You're organized, you got your agenda, you know what commitments you have at work, you know the stuff that you need to be having ready at work, but you also know when they need you at home, when they need you in school, what they need you for, and you can pretty much cover everything because you're well organized. That's what finding balance in your life provides you with. That self-discipline to get organized and be able to do more in both your personal and your professional life. Now, the lack of discipline, on the other hand, it's something that it's just a sign of a disorganized life. The person that is always late for whatever thing was happening, a concert, a game, a parent conference, they're always late. Because they're always forgetting, they're always, and don't get me wrong, they got an agenda and sometimes they got an assistant, but they got so much on their plate that they don't know where to start, they don't know how to organize, they just simply don't have the discipline. They don't know when to say, I'm sorry, but it's time for me to go because I have to be somewhere else and I'm already running late and I don't want to be late. They just don't know when to stop. Because again, if they keep going, everybody else will think, gosh, that person is really a hard worker. And it seems to be such a virtue that we all want to be that person, right? No, wrong. If it's at the expense of your personal life, simply it's not the right way to go. Finally, when you find the balance in your life, you feel connected. You feel connected to yourself. You feel connected to others. You feel connected to the spirituality in a way that you get to see things from a different perspective because you're much more at peace. The people that are not interested in finding the balance, and I have to say not interested because again, some people know what they need to do and yet they don't want to do it. They want to continue with the disorder in their lives. They want to continue with the chaos. They want to continue with whatever life they're having. These are people that show total disconnection, and it's hard for them to connect with others. It's hard for them to connect with any spiritual topic or any spiritual book or any spiritual word, and they cannot connect with themselves. They don't know what is happening to them inside. They don't know their emotions. They just don't cope with any of that. They just block it and move on. They just continue going with whatever they're doing. And it's funny because last week we were talking about emotional growth, and we were talking about that disconnection and how when you don't identify your emotions are going to be overwhelming you. Your emotions are going to be controlling you instead of you controlling the way you react to and respond to people and situations. And it's the same thing. That disconnection is part of a sign of a disorganized life. And just simply, even if you want it, you just can't connect. And if you cannot connect with yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to connect with others. Now, my recommendation for you finding the balance in your life is my equation that I have called, that's not the name of the equation, but I have called it more, less, do, quit. More, less, do, quit. And it's pretty much based on these 4 words. More, less, do, and quit. And this is pretty much what I have brought for you as my final reflection tonight. More. You can always do more of certain things. What things? Those that are of greater value to you, those that make you feel so great, those that make you feel rewarded, that you feel such a satisfaction when you do them. You feel so good that every time you go through it, you go and you say, why don't I do this more often? Has that happened to you, that you do something, go like, this is so much fun, I love it, I wonder why I haven't done this more often? You can do more of that. You can do more of that certain thing that makes you feel good, makes you feel better. Now, less. You can do less of certain things. What things? Those things that when you do them, you say, what was I doing there? It was awful. I hated it. Then what were you doing there? Why did you go? You can decide to reduce or discontinue those things, those activities, those behaviors that are not helpful for you anymore. Those things that are not part of who you want to be or where you want to go. I always said, when you define who you want to be and where you want to go, just make sure that everything you're doing goes along with that, goes in compliance with that. So if whatever you're doing is making you feel upset, is making you feel angry, or make you feel any kind of discomfort, then simply do less. If you feel you still have to do it, because I know sometimes there are things that we might not enjoy them and yet we still have to do them. Okay, I understand, but try to do less. You can always do less. As much as you can do more of the things you enjoy, you can always do less of certain things. Now, do. You can start doing things you're not doing at all. What? New choices, new skills, new projects, new activities. I love it when sometimes people tell me, oh, I always wanted to learn how to swim. What is stopping you? Why haven't you? Oh, I always wanted to learn how to speak a different language. Look, with the technology the way it is, what is it that you want to learn that you don't find on the internet? Really? Maybe swimming, because you will have to go to a swimming pool. But think about it. When you are whining about something that you always wanted to do or learn and you never did, ask yourself this simple question. Why? Why you're not doing it? So, again, you can start doing things. Do things that you're not doing at all today. So if you haven't done it, this is the perfect time for you to consider to start doing it. Go for it. Don't let anything or anybody stop you. And finally, quit. You can quit. You can stop doing certain things altogether. At all. What? Well, those activities, those behaviors that are no longer consistent with what you want and where you want to go. If you know that is holding you back, if you know that whatever is it that you've been doing, it's definitely not what it feels right anymore. It's not what you are enjoying anymore. Quit. Simply quit. Don't do it anymore. I cannot tell you what to do or what to stop doing or what to start doing, because again, this is about you. I'm just here to guide you through it. I'm just here to help you see that these are important things for you to do in order to find balance of your life. It's a simple equation. You can do more of certain things, those that you really enjoy and that make you feel great and that go in compliance with what you want for you. You can do less of certain things, those who you don't feel that are helping you, you don't feel that are part of who you are anymore. It just doesn't feel that great anymore. You still have to do it, but try to do less. You can start doing things that you haven't done at all until now. New skills, learn new things, new projects, new activities. It's your choice. It's your life. And remember, you can stop quitting certain things altogether, those that are negative for you, those that are simply not part of who you are anymore, those that are not adding to who you want to be. Just push them out of your life. Now, before you go, sometimes we don't do what we need to do because we are afraid of what others might feel about the choices that we make. Like, if I stop doing this person's going to feel upset, or if I do this person's going to be happy. the only way that you're going to find the balance in your life is by assuming yourself and being responsible for yourself. You cannot be doing things just based on what others will think or feel about you. You don't even know if there'll be a way to please them. Some people, doesn't matter what you do, they won't be satisfied with that. So it's up to you to have the kind of life that you want. And the only way to do it is by looking at yourself and making the changes that you consider that needs to be made. If you don't know how to do it, talk to someone. Seek for professional help. There's people that are out there to help you, and you can always write your email, send us what you want us to address in our sessions, and I'll make sure that I include them. Remember that also our upcoming bulletin is going to be sent to you on January, very soon, just a couple of weeks, a week and a half ahead of us. And that's also a great opportunity for you to send me whatever you want me to address, or just your opinion or something, so we can include it in the bulletin as well. Remember, this is your virtual platform. Remember that we are here for you, and we want to assist you 24/7. We want to be there for you. And again, finding your life balance is totally up to you. I am here to help you, but you need to be willing to do what it takes. And it takes courage, and it takes decision. It's not too late. It's a great opportunity. The year is about to finish, and you can start a new year ahead with new energy and knowing that you are on the right path, the path to a better life that you deserve. No one's going to do it for you. You need to do it yourself. Well, my friends, I guess this is all for tonight. I am so happy again for the great opportunity to be with you, reminding you that every Thursday at 8, you have your live session. You can participate by chat, but if not, just catch the video. Usually it's right there the same night or early the following day. Make sure to invite your friends and loved ones to join us. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't matter if they are in a different country, at a different time zone. Just let them know that they join us, and they can choose their best convenience to watch the videos. And again, I hope you have a great Merry Christmas, a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you next week with our topic, letting go. It's going to be great, and I expect to see you. I remind you that it will be a pre-recorded session just like tonight, but feel free to send me your opinions, ask your questions, and I'll make sure I can address them on the session next Thursday. It'll be until then, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Merry Christmas!